Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your boy Clint Still, and today I wanted to record a video to advertise my IT tutoring service. So there's many people who want to get into IT or cybersecurity, or maybe you're already in the field and you're trying to learn additional skills, additional talent, so that you can move yourself up to that next level. Maybe get a pay raise, maybe get a promotion, more responsibilities, or maybe you want to be like me and you want to pivot out of corporate America and start your own business. But again, all of those require knowledge of technologies, whether you're working for somebody else or you're working for yourself and you're building everything by yourself as a one-man army like I do. So before I advertise my IT tutoring business, you need to know if I'm actually the guy that can help you get the job done. So what I wanted to do really quickly is just walk you through my professional experience. There's a lot of times where a lot of tutors don't have the right professional experience to provide people with the pathway for how they can exit and then, of course, move through their career. So, what I wanted to do is just briefly walk you through my professional and personal experience so that you can know who it is that you're getting tutoring services from. So to start, right before I jump into my first job, that my first tech job I had, a little bit of background of me is been living and breathing tech since I was in Pampers. I've been playing video games since I was 2 years old. I got on the internet when I was four or five, and I built my first computer unsupervised when I was nine, just watching my older brother put things together, so on and so forth. So before I got my tech job, I was already immersed in tech, and then of course I used to surf the high seas as well. So being on the computer, on the internet, playing online. I used to play online video games when I was nine, getting racial slurs thrown at me and things like that. So I've been on the internet around computers pretty much my entire life. And my professional career and accomplishments show that. So first I wanted to jump in is my first tech job was at HostGator. I started off as a chat tech. And what that is when you go to their website and you have an issue with your website, billing, things like that, there's either somebody that you call or you talk to somebody on the live chat. I was the guy on the live chats. I prefer doing live chats, and at my peak, could talk to like 35 or 40 customers. It was only required for us to talk to five, but I could do about 35 to 40 with very average customer service. My sweet spot was around 22 customers. I could talk to 22 customers at the same time, make sure that all of them got stellar feedback and service. And with that said is not only does that take lots of typing and lots of memory to know what you're doing and collaborating and facilitating with everybody, you also have to make sure that you have good written skills, verbal skills, and that you also have the right patience to be able to handle customers. So I started off doing chat tech, and eventually I moved over to our Linux supports, my Linux security support team. So I did Linux support first, and then eventually pivoted over to the exclusively Linux security team. Now, with that said, is when I was there, the primary thing that I did, I won't read out all these bullet points, but the primary purpose for me was to help secure the server farm. So whether that was outbound DDoS attacks coming in, people spamming from our servers, customers, dedicated servers getting rootkitted, Linux servers. We mostly, well, I did Linux at HostGator. I eventually got my Windows experience further in my career. But my job was effectively was to be the security administrator that was to handle all security issues end to end. So the customer says, "Hey, my website is hacked. I don't know how it happened." I would go in, figure out how it happened, patch it up, restore their site from backups if necessary, so on and so forth. So again, you can read the full background there if you want more insight on that. So after that particular role, I went to pivot over to cPanel, in which I was a security analyst. Now, when I first started at cPanel, I was actually a support analyst. So when you had issues with the cPanel control panel and or billing issues, again, you would call in or send a ticket, and it would be me who works on it. And so eventually, what ended up happening was I moved into our internal security team. Now, at the time that I was working there, this was a new team that was formed. So it was a non existent team. And so one of our goals was to enhance the security of our infrastructure. So we created a brand new two-man team. So that means documents written from scratch, security tools, written from scratch, policies changed within the organization, socializing the security team, ensuring that we did red teaming events like phishing tests, things like that. So those were effectively the initial tasks that I had to compete with not excuse me, not compete with, but complete rather, whenever I started that role. So it was effectively building security operations from nothing, nada, zero. So we were a two-man team. We were able to do that, mostly using a lot of open source tools. Again, won't read through all of those bullet points, but you're more than welcome to run through them. Now, the next professional experience I had was at Booz Allen Hamilton. That was where I was a Fortune 150 cybersecurity consultant for 5.5 years. What I did was I served project execution. I did training for corporate clients, but primarily project execution. So I served as a cybersecurity subject matter expert. And so a lot of times clients will need cyber professionals that are ready to go today. So a lot of my gigs were staff augmentation, meaning the client needs a competent cybersecurity professional tomorrow. We don't need to go through the whole hiring process, vetting, all that stuff like that. I already hit the ground running, and because I'm a cybersecurity subject matter expert, I can learn their environment extremely quickly and rapidly, and then be able to make very keen, insightful recommendations for how they can improve their cybersecurity. So effectively, my job was to work with the largest, triple, or at the time it was double and triple digit, but now you have trillion-dollar Fortune 150 companies now. So effectively, my job was to be the consultant that would come in and provide them with that expert cybersecurity expertise that whatever director or member within the organization can then go to the board of directors and say, hey, we have this cyber directive from, Booz Allen Hamilton, here's the recommendation, so on and so forth. And of course, my job was also to make sure that if I needed to be called into the board of directors or explain things like that, again, I also have that top level, C level executive knowledge to be able to speak that language and be able to relate to them. And then lastly is my current job. I am currently a spiritual life coach. I'm an IT tutor, and I do cybersecurity consulting. So the main thing is the IT tutoring and training. So I'll also jump into some of those projects that I've done, which again will provide more insight into my capabilities. So now we've discussed my work history. Okay, my work history shows I know what I'm talking about. And then, of course, very quickly, one thing I just wanted to show, two of my educational accomplishments that I'm also very proud of is I graduated from Western Governors University with my bachelor's degree in IT security, and I was the commencement speaker of IT. So if you Google my name, or if you go to YouTube and you Google my name and WGU, you'll see my speech there actually. So that was one of my professional accomplishments. And my next one was at the University of Houston. I graduated with my master's in information security, cybersecurity, and I graduated with a 3.94 GPA, number one in my class. So that is from an educational standpoint. I also know what I'm talking about. So there's that aspect. Now, when it comes to my IT tutoring, before I jump into that offering, the last thing I want to cover is my projects portfolio. If you go to my website and you click on my IT training and go there, you'll see a list of my IT training portfolio. Now, the IT training portfolio that I have right here is from my entrepreneurial endeavors. So I quit my corporate America job in June 2022, and so I started up my IT tutoring service. And since then, I have been booking many corporate and individual IT trainings. So I've done trainings from CompTIA Linux Plus. I've done CISSP, CompTIA CYSA, more CISSP, management skills, Security Plus, A Plus. I've done trainings for students that have special needs. So students that have autism that may have difficult picking up material at a quick pace. I've done trainings for those students as well. And I've also done ISO 27005 lead risk management training. So again, if you're looking for GRC education, I'm not just only a technical guy. I prefer the technical side, but again, I'm also familiar with GRC and risk management and so on and so forth. Familiar with threat modeling, have done threat modeling, so on and so forth. Now, with that said, you should have a better background on who I am, and you should know that I know what I'm talking about now. So now when it comes to my actual IT tutoring offering, One of the things that I've done is I have grouped my tutoring and capabilities into what I call functional areas. So what I have grouped them into is first I have cybersecurity. So within the cybersecurity domain, I can help you build a home lab. I can help you securely set up and design the home lab. I can also help you configure and develop a SIM so that you can become more familiar with security analytic um, uh, endeavors in terms of creating alerts, responding to alerts, feeding the SIM platform your logs and things like that. And of course, there's other different areas within cybersecurity as well. Then when it comes to Linux, again, group those up into functional areas: system administration, troubleshooting, system hardening. Again, with Windows, similarly with networking, and then also with programming. So I have many different IT tutoring specialties and domains that I can help assist you with. If you are looking to move forward in your career and you're kind of stuck in any different, particular areas, you're trying to learn how to master these skills, or maybe you're trying to get into cybersecurity entirely. If you're trying to get into cybersecurity, I actually do have a service. I have the cybersecurity consulting service, and that is what I would recommend for those who are looking to get into cybersecurity specifically. Now, this specific service is not necessarily where I teach you cybersecurity or the concepts. What I do is I take a overview of what you already know within the cybersecurity realm, and then I break it down, and then I say, okay, if you're trying to get to that next level within your cyber career or your professional career in general, here are the different steps that you need to perform. Now, how this works in tandem, and I'll give a very real example. I had a client that was looking to move forward in his cybersecurity career. So he booked a career consulting session with me. So I gave him the couple of points that he needed to work on in terms of progressing his cybersecurity career. Then after that, he needed help doing accomplishing one of those points on his own. And then he ended up booking an IT tutoring session. So within that tutoring session, the client was having issues with Linux. They weren't as familiar with Linux as they were that they wanted to. So they were having issues accomplishing a couple of the goals that I had them accomplish. And so they booked IT tutoring, and then I helped him reach that goal. And then he was able to continue on past that point. So with that said, my IT tutoring service, if you are interested in booking with me, you can go ahead and just click on the book now link, and you will see a list of all of my services. So again, I'm a spiritual life coach as well, but you can ignore those. But here I have my cybersecurity career coaching service. And then I also have my 30-minute and then 60-minute IT tutoring session. So what I recommend you do is contact me first before booking a session if you feel that what you are looking to learn is something that you want to save and optimize time on. So my goal is not to have you book a 1 hour session just because it pays me more money and you show up and we spend an hour talking about nothing. No, I prefer that you contact me ahead of time. Let me know what it is that you're struggling, where it is that you're struggling at. That way, when we jump into the session, we can immediately start to troubleshoot. So if you know that there is a large concept that you need to break down, you can go ahead and just book the 1 hour session. If you are already in the middle of a session, or if you feel that there is just a little bit of clarification that you need, either we've been working with each other or you feel like you're just at that last mile of understanding a concept, I recommend that you book the 30-minute IT coaching session. So, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and leave me a comment. You can contact me on my website on the bottom of my page. I do have my phone number there. So, you are able to contact me there if you need to have any questions or ask for any additional services that I might provide to prepare yourself for the IT tutoring session coming up. So, if you have any questions, guys, go ahead and let me know. And of course, as always, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.